Boom. Hi, I'm Victor Rocho, and I want to teach the difference between what it takes to be a high performer and what high-performing sales professionals know that you do not know or you're not aware of. Okay, this is all about sales. Now, this can apply to different areas or different disciplines of your life or other people's lives. But I am focused, this is focused on sales people that want to be in the 4% of the elite. As an objective management group partner, we have access to data, which is, we have access to 1.8 million and growing sales evaluations and assessments of salespeople, sales leaders, VPs of sales, and CEOs or entrepreneurs that are in the function or they are CEOs, sales CEOs. So we have a lot of data. Obviously, it's backed by science. So I want to share with you what it discovered and a lot of the findings that we have and how it's helped me tremendously continue to excel. So if you're ready and you're ready to understand and learn something from, I have 5 companies, okay? I've started and I owned 5 different companies. This is my 5th company. Worked with a lot of large businesses. We work with small and medium-sized businesses. So I want to show you between the thousands of salespeople that we have observed, trained, hired, and what the highest paid earners do and know, again, what you do not. So you ready? Now let's have a little bit of fun here. Let's get it on and let's get that paper. All right, so high performers. Everybody knows Michael Jordan, right? At least pretty much most people in the world. What does Michael Jordan, what does the elite Navy SEALs? The Navy SEALs, you got to admire them, you know, any of the special forces, but particularly the Navy SEALs. Out of all the people that go through Navy SEALs training or are lucky enough to get selected to get into the program, only 25% make it through. So if they start with 100, 75, they're out. And studies have showed that a great athlete doesn't have a better chance than a person in the program that wasn't a great athlete. And we're going to explain to you and we're going to show you the difference. So now these aren't salespeople, but I wanted to relate it to you to understand that sales, we have particular things and we have particular items that are similar to these elite people that you now need to understand, know, and start executing on. So you can be in the elite, so you could be making 200, 300, 400, well over $1 million. You can scale a business. You can build a team. You can build an army of salespeople. Nothing happens until something is sold. Now, don't forget, you need the rest of the team, and you need them to help fulfill the promise you made to a client or customer. So what is it that football players know? What is it that baseball players know? You know that a baseball player can fail 70% of their time during their career, and they have a high likelihood to make it to the Hall of Fame. That means their career was a 300 plus batting average, even though they failed. Okay? Professional athletes, professional football players. My sport was football. I'm going to explain a little bit about that. So if you're an athlete, male or female, you'll understand this. If you're a sports enthusiast, you'll understand this, okay? And if you're not, I'm not saying you won't understand this, but you know, my background is in sports. It's hard work. It's no different than an artist or a musician that are great. It's just I have the knowledge better in sports. I've been a sports coach for a long time. I will see what I do. I coach, right? But I actually develop. And I would say that my company and what I do today, when I want to give back, I want to change the world, right, for people in the profession of sales and make as many high-earning sales professionals as possible. Because sales professionals, salespeople are not getting enough of the education and training of what it takes to be great. Okay? So what do they all have in common? You know they're all great. You know they're the elite. They're the best. Maybe not every football player, maybe not every baseball player, maybe not every basketball player, but the ones that are great, they know something that you don't know. Sales professionals like myself, sales professional in the elite, CEOs that are sales oriented, CEOs or owners that are not sales oriented but understand what they need to grow their companies, they all know one thing, the number one thing that sets the greatness apart from everybody else in sales is, let's get it on, mindset, right? What is your mind, okay? Your mindset, and there's two types. I believe there's a study that has three, but I'm going to talk about two. The third one is a little bit different here. So there are two mindsets, right? The first one is fixed, and the second one is growth, okay? Now, fixed is easy, okay? Fixed, I mean, they're all easy to understand. Fixed is, hey, I am what I am. Meaning, I'm at where I'm at. I don't need to learn anymore. Or I have a fixed mindset because you put a glass ceiling. You can't do any better than you're doing now. You have your belief systems, which is in your mind. Your belief systems have held you back to figure this is all I have. This is how it is. This is what I was taught. And the sad part is that for anybody, but particularly in sales, the belief systems and your mindsets, it's not your fault. It really isn't. It becomes your fault when you become aware of it and you do nothing about it. But when you start, it's really not your fault. So let's understand why I say that. We have experiences in our lives since we're born, say up until 20 years old. Okay? So there's a certain part where as kids, we're awesome. We want to be great at everything. We all want to be pro athletes, or we want to be astronauts, or we want to be a famous writer or a doctor. We have these dreams that nothing is impossible. Somewhere along the line, either where you're at, where you live, your parents, people in general, the things you see around you affect you. They may hold you back. You're experiencing things in your life from 0 to 20 that can or have affected your mindset. You may believe, hey, this is their life. I'm going to live the same life. And that's it. I can't, man, I wish I could be the next Bill Gates. I wish I could be the next Warren Buffett. I wish I could be the next Mark Zuckerberg. Okay? And then you feel you're never going to be there. Okay? That's a problem. Sometimes your parents will tell you, well, you got to be realistic. This is what you need to do. You can't do that. Your friends, they're around, they're like, you're never going to be able to be a professional. You're never going to make $1 million. You're never going to do this. You may go where your surroundings are. I don't care what the economic situation is. I can tell you this, okay? I have known people that are in low income, okay? And I know people in middle income, and I know people that are super wealthy, okay? And I can tell you this. I have seen each one of those level of people have kids that get into drugs, that go to jail, that they don't want to do anything in their lives. So the economics really doesn't matter, okay? What does matter is how the belief systems you were given, whether it's work ethic, whether it's your ability to do anything that is possible. You know, I grew up, and every Sunday we would go see my grandmother, and at that time it was like maybe 1970s, I guess showing my age, but you know, we would drive to the Bronx, and the area my grandmother lived and some of my family lived, you know, go to Google Images and see what that area looked like. Okay, there was it looked like a war zone, burnt buildings, a lot of crime. I mean, we had to watch our car in front of the house, and not that we had a great car, again, you know, we were very, I don't know what we were, maybe low middle class, I couldn't tell. I was a kid, but I knew I wanted more, okay? I would go there, I loved my grandmother. My grandfather had passed away, and on my father's side, they already had passed away when I was born, okay? But going there, and seeing it be the day that I'm going to commit to go after and be the best that I can be, and constantly think of that. Think about it, you know, so many things, The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. I tell you, everything will talk to you about mind. But fixed and growth, okay? And then, interesting, so Michael Jordan, obviously a great basketball player, came to, or Tim Grover, by the way, excellent book. It's called Relentless. It's by Tim Grover, okay? Grover. The book is Relentless. If you go to victororocho.com and you see resources, books, you'll see it there, or you could go to Amazon and go put Tim Grover and you'll see it. Fantastic. That has helped me understand the mind and differences between super greatness. Okay, and understanding some people I used to work for that were cleaners. Okay, so now what else? And what he teaches here is that, you know, hey, I didn't, you know, he's in his book or he's on a podcast. He starts talking about, I didn't make Michael a better basketball player. I didn't teach him more skills. Now, granted, in working with Tim Grover, he got stronger, physical, but that's not where they really focused on. What they focused on was the mindset to be the best in the world, and Michael wanted it. And Grover pushed and helped him and knew what he needed to do. He coached Kobe Bryant. He coached Dwayne Wade. Those are all superstars, okay? And they come to him when nobody else can help them, okay? So if you get a chance, get that book. It's for anybody, but if you're in sales and you want to be just great, I would recommend Relentless. There's so many books out there. Again, you go to victororocha.com. I got a bunch of them. Baseline Selling by Dave Curlin, which is from Objective Management Group, which is where I'm a partner, but I learned so much from the study and the data. 2 excellent books, and just unlimited. I have read so many books you can't even imagine. Okay, so what he was saying is, what he was teaching, that, listen, you first have to develop from the neck up. Brain. Neck up, to develop from the neck down. Okay, a great salesperson has to come in with strong desires and commitment, right? They have to have the desire to be great, and they also have to have the commitment to do what it takes to be great. They have to come in or develop or be self-aware of their mind and continue improving that and get help. But they have to come in with that. But then we can teach you the skills. Like I said, we're gonna show you other items where we're gonna teach you clothes, everything you could possibly think of. And nothing's new under the sun. It's just who you really relate to, who you really believe, and who's really done it, right? The beauty about it, we're still doing it. and I have sales performance coaches, and I continue to coach because I love it. I've coached basketball, baseball, football, travel basketball, which is the Elite All-Stars, you name it. And there was my daughter's 6-year-old soccer team. We went undefeated. I wasn't trying to go undefeated. I wasn't tough on them. I just strategized, had them to have fun, and we went undefeated. It was pretty funny. I have a son and a daughter, and my daughter gave me an undefeated season, of which I've never had. Okay? So from the neck up has to be developed first. You have to be strong. Okay? And it's not just about willpower. It's about a belief that you either have to, that is hindering you, and there are beliefs. Now these are in sales, there are beliefs for other successful people, but in sales, there are particular beliefs that have held you back. Think about it. Don't talk about financials. Don't ask too many questions. Hey, only buy things at the lowest price. Okay, well if you sell on price, you're gonna lose on price, right? It's all about value and if I can fix your problem. Okay, if you have a problem and that I feel I cannot fix, then I can't do business with you. If you feel you don't have any problems and I can help you uncover them, I can't do business with you. There are clients that have come to me that after talking to them and consulting and evaluating, I refer them to other sales professionals or other marketing professionals because that may not be the skill set our company does. Can I help them? Sure. But I won't be as successful, and they won't be successful because that's not a skill set I'm great at. I'd rather send them to a digital agency, a content marketing company, a specialty marketing company, a lead generation company. So I will only take them on if I truly, we only take people on. And in this case now, where we're going now to go particularly after skilled salespeople, is I only want to take on people that have strong desire and commitment and understand that from 0 to 20, from 20 to 30, from 30 to 40, I don't care where you're at, our life experiences have affected us in a positive and negative way. And they're not all positive and they're not all negative. And it's just a matter of which one is weaker over the other. That's what sets you apart. And you have to be aware of it and recognize it. It's like getting a physical from your doctor every year. If you have high cholesterol, you need to know it. It is what it is. Okay? So that's your mindset. Now, I'm going to demonstrate some other pieces around mindset, okay? Because this is difficult. And I'm going to tell you this now. It just doesn't seem, we're really promoting how to teach you and show you how it affects. And then we have a curriculum that keeps you going and develops all the other skills. But like I said, I could teach you all the skills in the world, but it's only going to last so far if your mind is still not in the right state because you don't believe or you feel uncomfortable. You know, the saying, no pain, no gain. That means you got to work harder. You can't grow. Okay, growth takes effort, takes pain. You have to get out of your comfort zone. Okay, that's where you become great. Okay, so let me show you some other things I want to tell you about. Okay, let's see if you recognize these people. And let's see if I got them all here. We'll go here. Okay, so here, let me get this out of here. Okay, so everybody knows Warren Buffett, Bill Gates. Right? They're usually 1 and 2 richest people in the world. I think there's somebody new today, but they're still in the top 3 richest people in the world. Okay? Mark Cuban, okay? You know him from Shark Tank, okay? Super, super wealthy, okay? Now, here's the deal. What's the difference from them? Obviously, it's mindset, but they got a growth mindset. And how can I prove it? In this, amazing. Number one, Warren Buffett, when he started his investing career, read 600 to 1,000 pages per day. Bill Gates reads 50 books a year. Again, I was back to Warren Buffett, started his career, 600,000 pages a day. Bill Gates, 50 books a year. Mark Cuban, he reads 3 hours per day. They did this before they made their money. And they continue to do this even though they're all billionaires. I was reading a study. Do you understand? The population of the United States is probably 300 or 400 million. I'm not sure, but it is up there, right? 27% of people in the United States have not read a book in a year. I just don't understand that. You know how many times I've been in front of audiences, or particularly sales workshops and so forth, and I ask everybody, what book are you reading? How many are reading a book? It's sad, but very few. And the one thing that the wealthy know is that they continue reading, and pretty much 90+% of their reading is all educational. It's stuff so they can continue to learn. And that's all I read. Sometimes I try to read a fiction book. I kind of feel like if I start reading it, I really feel like if I'm not learning something from it, I'm not having fun. Now, I love movies, going to the movies, but reading a fiction book is just, I can't do it. But I can read education. I keep reading and reading and reading. I read a lot of books on education and business and so forth, particularly in sales. I'm learning there's new specialties in sales, but I never stop. And I encourage everybody that we work with, and we're very selective, that I need you to have a growth mindset, and I need you to believe that you can go anywhere as high and earn and make and live the lifestyle that you want. Set yourself free. It'll take some time to make you feel not feel uncomfortable continuing to ask a client or prospective client questions. You have to understand you're not going to receive the best health care you can possibly receive. Okay? So you need to be reading. And that's a mindset piece. What they're doing, it's a growth mindset. I need to keep learning. I need to keep learning. I need to keep learning. They don't want to stop. It's not because they want more. More comes to them because they're learning. Opportunity seeks, comes to them. They see it. It's incredible. Okay? Now, let's continue. Okay, I'm going to show you some numbers. And I want to show you some numbers there. We're going to finish with that. I'm going to tell you a few things and give you some examples. And I would love to see you in one of our workshops, one of our webinars, and give me a test. We have live recordings. We have live recordings, and we have live webinars. Where we educate, we try to have fun, and then we open it up to the audience for questions and answers. People calling me to the mat, why, what do they think, they don't believe this, or people saying, that's interesting, I never thought about it that way. I'm going to show you a lot there, and it's going to be how your mind thinks. That's the greatness about it, okay? So what do these numbers stand for? In the Bible, this one, 2,000 or more, okay? If you go to Amazon and you go to the book section and you type in mindset or mindset growth, there's over 2,000 books on the mind, on a mindset, on a success of mindset, on neuroscience, all about the mind. Everybody knows, right, that they always say that we only use 10% of our brain. We have 90% that we don't use. I also understand that your conscious mind, we only use about 1 to 5%, maybe a little bit more of the conscious mind of what's happening today. Okay? It's our subconscious mind that really makes a difference. And the subconscious mind is affected by, again, not your fault, by either society, by what you're hearing on the news or what you read, by maybe how you were raised, maybe in the environment you were brought in, maybe people putting you down, that's your subconscious mind. That is holding you back. And we're going to help you to break through that from a sales perspective to, again, get you to the elite level. Okay? Over 2,000 books. So there must be something to be said that if there's that much research and data on the mind, okay, it's got to affect people in multiple different disciplines. And this is focused on, because I don't believe I've really ever spoke to any salesperson that we haven't developed or coached that understood that mindset. I mean, think about it. The saying goes, fake it until you make it. Why? It's a belief. It's a belief that you're going to keep going, right? And you're going to get there. Okay? What the mind can believe, it can achieve. Think and Grow Rich. That's a book that should be required by everybody. Okay? I can't imagine anyone not reading that book. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill is a masterpiece that I don't think will ever be not, will ever not go away. It will always be there. It will be a staple to prove what you can do if you set your mind to something. Okay? And you stay focused and you're passionate about it. And you want to keep learning. And you're around people you learn from. They say that your income is going to be the average of the people you hang around with. Right? So there's a level where you have to keep going and growing. I have tons of mentors and I try to mentor others. The reason I love development and coaching after the other companies is because I feel great about being able to rise others. And I do it outside of sales. Okay, I love motivating people. I love doing, things that make people feel really good. But from a sales perspective, to me, it's back to sports, right? We're the offensive players of a company. We put up the numbers. We create work. Most people, the sales teams create the work. The rest of the company delivers on the work. But if there's no work being sold, there's no work to fulfill. The most important area, or one of the most important areas, and it's really the whole team, but you got to get the numbers up, okay? You got to get the revenue, and then you control your cost of goods, and it's all about gross profit. From there, everybody's going to control what they can control. And that'll be a different subject, because I want everybody to understand before I let this go, is that I don't care if you're an entrepreneur, it's easy. But if you're a sales leader, and let's just get to the sales professional. If you're a sales professional and you have a territory, whether it's a specific territory or you have an unlimited territory, you have to think, you have to believe that that's your own business. You own that territory. Okay, so what you sell is your top line revenue. What you make is your revenue minus your taxes is your gross profit, and that's what you live on. And that's where your expenses, you pay everything out of that, you live your life. So the higher you get your top line, you're still going to have your taxes, but the higher you get your top line minus your taxes, you're going to get a lot more gross profit. And the higher your gross profit, the greater scales you can do. Okay? 249 times the word belief is in the Bible. Okay? If you believe it, you can achieve it. Okay? If you already believe you have it, it will be yours. I believe that's Mark 11:24. Okay? 249 times. Belief. Believe that you can do anything. Have the faith within yourself. In sales, you're not competing against anybody. You're competing for yourself. It's like golf. You got to penalize yourself. Golf, I'm not a great golfer, but one thing that I love about golf, it's one of the only sports where you get a penalty, you penalize yourself. In football, baseball, they're going to call. You get penalized by someone else, a ref, an umpire. You get penalized by someone else, right or wrong. In golf, you have to be truthful, to be great, and have the etiquette to understand that you lose a stroke. You have to penalize yourself. So Belief, you have to believe. Okay? Belief 249 times in the Bible. 91 times is a word of prosperity. Different versions, but prosper, prosperity. 91 times in the Bible. So now you got over 2,000 books on mindset. You have 249 words of belief in the Bible, which is the most sold book in the world, okay? And 91 times it's about prosperity, okay? What out of the book would help you be able to get to that level? Give and it shall be returned 10 times. So you have to learn that, you have to believe it, and help others to get to greatness. Okay? Now, the last part I really want to go over here, super simple. I found a study that the most successful people with great mindsets, okay, that have a growth mindset, that believe they can go further, make an average of $160,000, make $160,000 or more. But what's amazing about that, their net worth is $3.2 million or more and higher. Would you like to have a net worth of $3.2 million minimum and grow? For me, it's about legacy. It's about a number. It's about, I want to be able to reach down to my grandchildren's kids, first kids. That's my goal. Now, if I go any further, I'm happy. But I want to give them something that I never had. I want to give them something that our family didn't have. I'm going to give them something. I have a couple sisters that are older than me that they had even less. Okay? I want to give back. I love giving to the community. I love helping. I just enjoy the feeling of making people feel great and making people succeed, or not making, helping people succeed. I had a protege of mine that groomed in sales, and the interesting part was I had left that company. We grew them from 32 million to over 110 million in like 2.5 years. And one time we were talking, and he keeps talking to me, man, I'm trying to get these guys to pay me some more money. I just don't understand why they're not. I'm like, okay, and we're talking for a while, and I'm hearing that, and I said, you know, I got a little bit of problem. He's like, what's that? Why isn't it you're not upset that your people aren't making money? Because the more people you help, the greater success you will have. But you have to start with yourself. You have to start with your mind. You have to start with understanding you can be great, but you got to learn. Do you know how many salespeople I find that are complacent? They may be doing well, but they're complacent. They think they've hit their plateau. They don't need to learn anymore. Well, you know, go to your attorneys, go to your doctors, and tell them the same thing. They shouldn't learn it. Don't worry about it. You're smart enough. It's incredible how much more I still have to learn. It's incredible of stuff that I know, but when I read, it just keeps reinforcing it. You know, I had met, you know, in our experience with our clients over the last 6, 7, 8 years, I had one client that was like, you know, we're doing well, we love working with you, and we're getting value, but you know, this is great, but I'm learning stuff that I kind of know, or already know already, and it's great because you're reminding me and you're refreshing, but he didn't seem like positive about it. And I really didn't say anything right there because I had to digest that. So as I'm driving home or back to my office, I had to do something. So I started writing and thinking, I don't understand. What is the use of knowing something, of having the knowledge, and then not executing on it? Oh, I already know that. Then do it. One thing I do with my mentors, if they tell me something I know, I stay quiet. If they tell me something I don't know, I'm happy. But when they tell me something I know, I say, okay, great, I'm doing that. But I don't tell them I know. I want them to keep feeding me. Coaches like to coach people who want to be coached. We do not like to coach players, develop players who do not want to be developed. I was taught a person that is changed against their will is of the same opinion still. A person that is changed against their will is of the same opinion still. So I had another salesperson, in fact, recently who came to me and said, you know, Victor, I need some help, and I'm trying to convince the, and once he said the word convince, what are you convincing? We don't convince people. Sales professionals solve. And if we don't have the right product or service that can solve, send them somewhere else. Help them. You'll get it back. But I'm not looking to convince. I'm not looking to convince you what you have to do. You have to believe it or not. I'm living a good life. My clients are living a good life. I've groomed many people that have doubled, tripled their income. Okay? But this goes back to you. About what is it you're going to believe? You could learn everything, the internet marketing, you can learn multi-level marketing, you can learn closing, you can learn objections, you can learn everything you want. But you still need to have that strength to believe, right? You have to have strong desire. Your mind has to set you free from feeling uncomfortable. One of the strongest negative, the hindering, I hate to say the word negative, one of the most hindering and most difficult beliefs that is a weakness is when you have a need for approval. Means that there's like 67 or 72% of the professionals in sales have a need for approval. What does that mean? That means they need to be liked by a prospect or a customer. They need or a client. They need to be loved. That's what they want to feel. And when they need that approval, it hinders them from asking more questions, asking tough questions, doing the things. Sometimes it gets to the point where a salesperson would have to collect. Oh, hey, I don't want to ask that client. They may get upset. You know, I don't want to ask them for more business because I may lose the client. That's a perception in your head. Okay, you can't help them without really understanding what the situation is. And a lot of our clients from the business side of our company have found that when they follow our process and our belief system, that clients have gone with them and paid more money than someone else was presenting because of the way they handled the process and the way they asked enough questions with true sincerity to understand if they can or cannot help them. So imagine the most successful people that have a growth mindset make 160 and beyond and have a net worth of over $3.2 million. I'm going to leave this up to you. You need to decide. We have webinars coming up that deal with mindset. We have other webinars in all the other tactics, but normally I won't let anybody in to those type of skill sets unless they're a business client. But from a personal, from a one-on-one, from a group, okay, we only want those that have a growth mindset, and they got to be eligible and prove it. Because we only want to develop great professionals that want it, that want to be developed. I am not, and I will not, and we do not, my sales performance coaches will not force to try to convince you that I'm right. We will look it up. I don't want to convince you of the things you need to do. I don't want to convince you to step out. You have to believe it. You have to understand that no matter where you came from, no matter what your circumstances are, you have the ability to be the greatest you can. I love a saying from Tony Robbins. He states, no one should expect more from me than I expect from myself. Thank you. I'm Victor Arocho. Greatness is being world class. Sell to greatness.